What's up guys, in today's video we're going to be detailing and restoring this beautiful 2024 46-foot CV. Let's go. This $1 million boat is absolutely gorgeous, but it does have some flaws in it that we have to correct. On the top side, we have lots of swirls, water spots, and oxidation that we must remove. On the hull, we have some deep scratches, swirls, and oxidation. This video is gonna be a full, complete tutorial. Stick around. It is a long video, but I'm gonna give you guys more value than you can possibly imagine. Guys, YouTube is telling me that 86% of people that watch and consume our videos do not hit the subscribe button. If you could do one quick thing for me, hit the subscribe button. It really helps this video get in front of more people so we can help as many people as possible keep their boats detailed. So let's start off here on the top side. Again, this boat is not in bad shape, but there are some troubled areas that we are going to have to correct. So anywhere where there is direct sunlight coming down is oxidized. This entire tow rail is nice and dull, even slightly chalky. You can see a little bit of white residue on my hands. So we're gonna have to go through with our heavy cut compound on the entire tow rail all the way around the boat. And up here is a nice troubled area as well. This entire top deck is nice and oxidized. It doesn't look too bad on an angle. It actually is slightly glossy still. But if you look directly into the surface, there is absolutely no shine at all. One way that you guys can tell if your boat is oxidized is don't really look at it on an angle. If you look on an angle, it actually looks glossy. The best way to check to see if you are actually having an oxidation problem is if you get down and look directly into the surface. And as you guys can tell, it is really bright, but even looking directly into the surface, I can barely see myself. So overall, the boat is looking good. We will have to be hitting all the seat cushions as well. This is some really nice vinyl and it is a little grimy. So we're gonna take care of all of the vinyl. We're gonna knock out all of the spots that need the heavy cut. And then on the side, so these inner walls down here, down the inner walls, again, they look glossy on an angle, but there's scuffs, there's light scratches, and there is a ton of water spots all throughout the side. So on the water spots, you can either chemically remove them or physically remove them. And we're gonna go with the physical route because we're gonna polish it anyway. Coming through all back here in this area, again, water spots, lots of scratches. Even though this boat looks beautiful, there is a lot of defects that we have to correct. All right, so my team is pretty much all set up with our pressure washer. We're gonna start off this detail with Revival Wash and Wax Boat Soap. That's gonna be a good soap just to strip off all the dirt, the grime. There's some fish guts up there. We're gonna do a full clean on the compartments and the seats and get this boat completely prepped for our correction steps. Let's go ahead and step into the first step of the detail and get this thing washed. Let's go. All right, so let's hop right into the detail process. First things first is the initial wash. This is going to knock off all the dirt, grime, and excess salt on the surface. Always start off with a really good rinse, and then we're gonna move straight to Revival Intense Clean on the seat cushions. Wherever this boat was stored last had a lot of like black soot on the seats, so we did have to use quite a bit of cleaner and a light scrub with the magic eraser. We were not scrubbing the surface by any means, going aggressively, just a really nice, gentle clean with the magic eraser and the Revival Intense Clean, and it got these seats looking absolutely beautiful. It even kind of changed the color of it because it had such that black soot on the seats. As soon as we're done with the Revival Intense Clean, we're gonna start the actual washing process. Guys, anytime your boat has a second story or a tower, we're always gonna start off at the very top of the boat and we're gonna work our way down. To do this, we're going to be using Revival Wash and Wax Boat Soap. This is a good soap that's just going to knock off the dirt, the grime, the salt, and it's also going to clean off the intense clean on the seat cushion. So always make sure you clean your seat cushions first, and then in the washing process, you're going to wash off that excess cleaner. Anytime we're cleaning the boat, always make sure you get up underneath the panels on the walls and make sure that we give this boat a really good clean
to prep for our correction step. When it comes to washing the top side of the boat, we typically will use the Surehold Blue X Soft brush to do the larger, hard to reach areas, but anywhere that's soft or delicate or anywhere where it's kind of hard to get with the brush, we usually use the Max Shine microfiber wash mitt. These wash mitts are really good for getting the hard to reach areas, wrapping it around your hand so you can get around rod holders and cup holders and the motors, just anywhere where the brush can't get. And these wash mitts are going to be a little bit more gentle on the surface and will not leave micro scratching like the blue brush can. We did have a rust stain on the hull here, and we went ahead and used Revival rust stain remover just to get that one rust stain out before we washed the hull. On the top side, there really was no rust at all. That's why we did not use the Revival rust stain in the initial wash process. The guys are just going to go ahead and wrap up the hull, and then we're going to move to our correction steps.
Alrighty guys, it is officially time to get this boat corrected. So the way we're gonna do this is we have 3 guys right now running with the Revival medium cut compound on the dual action polishers with the HDO blue foam pads. This medium cut with the foam pads is gonna remove all those water spots, and it's gonna get all of the scratches and swirls out of the surface absolutely flawlessly. And then we have Bryce up here starting with the Revival heavy cut compound. Again, he's gonna be heavy cutting the tow rail all the way around the boat and all of the top flat surfaces to completely remove all those deep scratches and heavy oxidation. Let's get into it.
Pretty good, huh?
Yeah, it does. It looks amazing.
Bryce is using the Revival heavy cut compound paired with the rotary buffer. This is a Makita rotary, and we typically run our RPM speed around 18 to about 2,000 RPM. That's really going to allow the gel coat to heat up. It's really going to allow the abrasives in the Revival heavy cut to cut into that oxidation, fully removing it and leaving us a really beautiful finish that we will have to follow up with the polishers later. One of my biggest pro tips that I like to give people, if they're new to rotary or not, is consistency is everything. Guys, you want to try to achieve one, consistency in your speed, so like your RPM speed. You want to have as much consistency in your down pressure, your downward force, and you also want to maintain consistency in how fast you move the machine from side to side. Every little factor will count. The slower you can move your arm speed, more consistent you can keep your downward pressure, the better shine you're gonna get.
All right guys, so if you are new to polishing, I'm gonna run you through how to polish out to remove the swirl marks that the heavy cut puts in the surface. Plus, whoever detailed this boat last left a lot of swirls and water spots. So in order to do that, we're gonna be using Revival medium cut compound. Now, the reason why we're using Revival medium cut compound today and not the Revival Polish Protect is because we are going to be ceramic coating this boat as our main layer of protection. Anytime that you're going to be doing ceramic coating versus waxing the boat, you want to use Revival medium cut. If you are going to ceramic coat your boat and you do Revival Polish Protect, the ceramic cannot bond to the sealant and the wax that's in the Polish Protect. So only use the Polish Protect if you're gonna wax a boat. In this case, we're gonna be using Revival medium cut compound. We are also using a Max Shine M21 dual action polisher. This is a phenomenal polisher that won't break the bank. We use this machine every day in our business, and you can tell this thing is really worn and really loved. We're gonna be pairing the medium cut compound with the Lake Country HDO blue foam pad. We want to go with the blue heavy cutting foam pad so that we get an extra amount of cut to really remove those light scratches, the swirls, and the water spots in the surface. And this pad is going to leave an absolute beautiful finish on white surfaces. If you have a black hull, you may want to use the orange pad, but in this case, this whole boat is white and light gray, so we're going to go with the blue. So we have our section. Anytime that we're polishing, no matter if we're doing the inner walls, the side walls, the ceiling, we're going to break everything up into roughly 2 to 3 foot sections at a time. You're going to give your medium cut a nice shake. This medium cut is going to start off as a medium to heavy cut compound. And as you break it down under the buffing cycle, it is going to work all the way down into an ultra fine finish, and it's going to leave you an absolute beautiful gloss. We're going to map out around our 2 to 3 foot sections. I'm going to do from about here, this whole top panel. All you're going to do is dab it onto the surface, kind of marking out your section. Now we're going to start off at the top left-hand corner, anywhere on the boat. We're going to go side to side all the way down the section, up and down all the way across the section, and then a back side to side. And we're also going to be running our machine at about the 4.5 speed setting. Now on this first pass, we're going to do really hard down pressure and move our hands really slow to make sure that we get a really good cut and a deep polish. This doesn't normally happen, but it's a super hot day, and just working that in, I can see the compound is already worked down pretty good, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more to my pad. Now this isn't really a normal process, but if you notice that most of the compound's already disappeared, which this is a fairly new pad, so a lot of it kind of soaked in, I'm just gonna add two more dots. And now we're gonna start our up and down process. Now this time we wanna do about medium down pressure. All right, so that's pass number 2, up and down. Now we're gonna go right back side to side. Now, if you notice, when I was coming around this door, I had to do an extra like 2 passes, because a lot of the times when you're passing over a gap, you're gonna have a little bit of gap over your pad. So I like to kind of do the section, and then you kind of outline the door, and you get a really good finish. So as soon as you're done your section, you're gonna take a microfiber, and let's wipe the surface, and then we'll go ahead and check it out. Now when you're done, your section should look perfectly smooth, perfectly glossy, and completely swirl free. Check out this before and after. That's what it should look like when you're done.
So the team is going to start off starting from the front of the boat, working their way to the back, doing all of the side panel walls and knocking out the center console. Guys, we're going to use the medium cut with the blue foam pad on these Max Shine M21s to give us an absolute beautiful, flawless finish. Now, anytime you're going around like rod holders and cup holders and stuff, we typically tend to just polish right over those just to shine up that metal as well. If you get a little bit of black residue, that's okay. Just take some medium cut and rub it right out. That black residue will come straight up. We're a firm believer of go over the metal because it's going to shine it and make the boat look that much better. So as the guys are working, they're gonna go ahead, finish up the center console and these side walls, and then we're gonna move on to our washing step.
That sucks.
That's perfect.
Alrighty guys, what's up? We got all the polishing done yesterday. Now we're back here today and we are going to start our washing process. We got a little bit of compound dust all over the surface from polishing yesterday. So what we're gonna do now is we got the guys getting set up. Here, we're gonna run over to the boat. We're gonna start washing the entire boat. To do this, we're just gonna do a light Dawn dish soaping wash. This is gonna help get all the compound dust off of the surface. After we're done our wash process, then we are going to start our ceramic prep process, and we'll have to go ahead and prep everything. Dry the surface and wipe it down with alcohol. Let's get into the wash.
All right, so for this final wash, it is really crucial that we knock off all of the polish and compound dust off of the surface. That's really the main purpose of this wash. During your correction steps, you're gonna be kicking up compound and dust all around the metal, all in the non-skid and all over the walls. So when we do this final wash with the Dawn dish soap, this is gonna strip off any oils, any lubricants from the compound, which there isn't very many in our products, but it's mainly gonna get the surface completely prepped for the protection step, which is going to be ceramic coating in this case. Do a really good wash. We're gonna really blast out all the cracks and the crevices to make sure there's no compound splatter and no compound dust caked in the corners and the crevices. We're gonna give this thing a really good wash, and then at the end we're gonna hit all the floors and the compartments to make sure this thing is completely spotless for our protection steps. Okay, so as soon as we're done with the wash, we are going to fully dry the surface. Unfortunately, we did not get any footage of that, so I apologize. As soon as the boat is fully dried, we are going to do an alcohol wipe down. Now, what we do to save a ton of money is we go to Walmart and we get 95 proof rubbing alcohol, isopropyl rubbing alcohol, and we cut it 50-50 with water in the bottles. It's about $3 for a bottle, and once you cut it, now you're at like $1.50 that it's gonna cost you per bottle. It's gonna save you a ton of money, and it's going to prep the surface. So what the alcohol prep does is it really makes sure you get all soap scum, water spots, minerals, anything that may be on the surface to stop the ceramic from bonding. It's going to remove it and completely prep the surface. Okay, now it's officially time to protect all of our hard work that we just put into the surface. To do this, we're gonna be using Revival Marine Ceramic. At the end of the video, when we do apply it to the hull, I will have a much more in-depth teaching on how to apply this ceramic, so make sure you stick around and watch that for more in-depth information. But for now, we're gonna start off on this top console. So anytime we're ceramic coating the top sides of a boat, we're gonna start off at the very top of the boat and work our way down. Once we get down to the floor level, we're gonna start from the bow to the stern. We're gonna apply the ceramic to the surface, let it sit for roughly 30 seconds, and then take 3 microfiber towels and wipe off the excess. The first towel is going to remove bulk of the ceramic that's on there. The second is going to smooth the surface, and the third is there to make sure that the surface is perfectly streak free. Alex is still working up on the top. We got Bryce here starting off on the front of the boat. He is going to work his way down the side panels and get around all the speakers. The ceramic coating is safe for plastic surfaces, glass surfaces, gel coat, and paint. So you can coat pretty much the entire boat with the Revival Marine ceramic coating. So guys, during the summer months, the Revival Marine ceramic coating has about a 30-second to 1-minute cure time. Now, when it comes to the ceramic, it is better, in my opinion, to remove it too soon than to remove it too late. Once the product starts to cure on the surface, it becomes really, really rock hard, and it is a little difficult to remove. So always err on wiping it too soon than too late. It will not cause any damage to the surface or to the ceramic. It won't mess it up in any way, shape, or form. Guys, this marine ceramic coating is really going to make cleaning the topside a heck of a lot easier. It's got crazy UV protection. It's really going to stop the boat from fading for about 12 months, and it's going to make it a heck of a lot easier to keep clean. Dirt, grime, blood, fish guts, all that kind of stuff doesn't really like to stick to ceramic, so it's going to make washing the boat a heck of a lot easier, and it's going to leave a phenomenal gloss on the surface.
Alrighty guys, we're getting here today. We just have a little bit of ceramic coating to do on the tow rail. So we got most of the entire topside ceramic coated yesterday, and I'll have the guys go right now and finish up coating the tow rail. Now we are taking a little bit of a chance. We do have some rain clouds on the forecast today. So we're gonna coat it with the slight chance that we may have to recoat it if it rains. So anytime you see rain on the radar, you really don't want to coat unless you have it at least 4 hours, and we're going to be right on the brink of that 4-hour mark. So I'm going to have the guys go through right now, finish coating all of the tow rail surfaces, and then we're going to move down to the hull because we don't want to take a chance on the raining on all the non-skid. So today's plan will be changing a little bit. We were supposed to do the tow rail and the non-skid, but we are only going to do the tow rail, leave out the non-skid until we absolutely know we have no rain, and then we're gonna work our way down to the hull of the boat. All right, so look, here's the plan, all right? We're not gonna coat the floors because of the service guys, all right? I don't wanna do that. And then also the ceramic, especially the non-skid coating, needs about 8 hours so it can cure. So we're obviously not gonna coat the boat right now because of the rain. Do you see those rain clouds up there? Yeah, those are nasty. So we're gonna do a little bit of a pivot. We're gonna start off doing the hull. Bryce and I are gonna start off on the dock rash. So what I'll do is I'll just go around and tape all the spots I don't want y'all to polish, and then y'all can pretty much just polish everything. All right, that sound good? And then on the polishing on the hull, we'll just do the exact same process that we did on the top side. We'll just use the Lake Country Blues and with the medium. And then make sure y'all have correction lights. So every time you're done a section, just check it with that correction light before y'all move down. Sound good? On this beautiful boat, there is some dock rash in the back. There is a big fender scratch right here. It's probably hard to see on camera. So what I'm gonna do is we wanna make sure that we actually remove all those dock scratches before we polish it and ceramic coat the entire hull. So I'm gonna go mark all the spots that we have to fix the scratches, and then the guys are just gonna polish the rest. And that's how we're all gonna stay efficient, because I don't wanna make everyone wait while we're fixing these scratches. So we'll get the scratches knocked out while the rest of the guys are polishing. Let's get into it. This whole front, from here to the front's done, or like, you know, y'all can polish. So why don't y'all just give us some space, start here, start running the front. All right guys, so we went ahead and marked out our scratches. We're using Mirka Dry Guide Coat. This is basically a white powder that's gonna illuminate the scratch to be able to help us see the scratch better. Now what I'm gonna do is, so normally I would take like a DA and sand this, but being we have such small, like deep scratches that are in very specific locations, I'm gonna just start off by hand. And I'm basically just gonna sand away until we no longer see the white powder underneath. As soon as the scratch is gone, well, the scratch is gone. So I'm gonna start off with 600 grit sandpaper, and let's see if it's gonna pull it out. We can always go down if we have to. So I'm gonna just start off by hand using an interface pad, and I'm gonna go straight lines right across the scratch. So I'm just gonna basically keep sanding until the scratch is gone. All right, there we go. We got all those scratches out. I don't know if you can see that. Nice and dull scratch. Now we will have to refine the surfaces and then buff it out when we're done. But so far we got that one scratch done. I'm gonna go ahead and work on the other one.
So while I start working on some of the scratches, we have the guys using the medium cut compound on the blue foam Lake Country HDO foam pads. The exact same steps that we did on the top side of the surfaces, they're going to be doing on the hull sides. Now the hull sides, anywhere where there wasn't scratches, it was actually in relatively good shape, but there was some water spotting, really bad water spotting on the hull, and some buffer trails from the last detailers that probably detailed this boat. There were some swirl marks. So we're going to take the medium cut, go through, give this hull a absolute beautiful finish while I'm working on the scratches. Okay, so moving on back here, we are doing 600 grit by hand dry sand. The reason why I like doing dry sanding is because it's much more aggressive than wet sanding, so you're going to be a little bit more efficient and you're going to get a deeper cut. So we started off by hand, really concentrated on that scratch, and then as soon as we were done with the 600 grit, I took 800 grit sandpaper with the machine and really flowed out those scratches and really sanded out the surface to, one, make sure that we removed the scratches, and to make sure that we got all of the 600 grit hand scratches out of the surface. As soon as we were done with the 600 and the 800 grit sand, I took Revival heavy cut compound with this Shine Supply Dock Boss heavy cut wool, and we went ahead and buffed out all of the scratches. You must take your time, and it really loves heat. Revival heavy cut compound loves heat, so I was running it right at about 2200 RPM to really buff out the surface and to remove all of those deep sanding scratches that the sanding steps put in. Check this out. This is before with the dock rash, and now this is after a perfect shiny finish.
All right guys, so I'm using this little Max Shine light right here as a correction light. These are some new Max Shine lights they sent us, and I absolutely love them. So much better than using my cell phone, which I've redundantly done for a couple years now. But anyway, I saw a big cluster of scratches up here, and now that I'm looking at it in the light, I've discovered that they actually come all the way down to here. So I don't know if you can see those tight scratches on the camera.
Yeah, you can.
But cool. So you can?
Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm gonna take that heavy cut and come down with it, and we'll see if the heavy cut will get all this out, and it should. So let's see. So if you can see on camera, we got a lot of those deeper scratches out, but now it is like crazy swirled from our heavy cut. But I was actually running it quite fast and pushing pretty hard on there to be able to dig out those deep scratches. So what I'm gonna do now is could sit here and grind it out with a polisher, but I think to save us some time and energy, I'm gonna grab the medium cut on a medium wool and buff it out, and we'll see if we can't get some of those deeper swirls out before we polish it.
So when using the Revival medium cut compound on the yellow wool, it typically likes a little bit slower speeds than the heavy cut. So we find around 1200 to about 1800 RPM is the perfect RPM speed range for the medium cut compound to heat up those diminishing abrasives so that you get a nice cut and a dang near swirl free finish.
You know what I mean? So when we're ready for new ones, actually they tell us, they're like, hey, dang, that's shiny.
Oh yeah, looks great.
That medium cut is wild, dude.
I love our medium cut.
It's like turning the lights on. All the problem is now, I hope this section don't look better than the rest of the boat. All right, let's check it out. Can you see that?
Sheesh.
So there looks like some little deeper hairline stuff in there, but overall, compared to what it did look like, yeah, it's not too bad.
All right, so now that we're done with the scratch and the sanding and all of that, the guys are gonna finish up on the hull, polish out everything, get the entire hull glossed up, swirl-free finish. And anytime you do any heavy cutting or even medium cut on the rotary, you always want to make sure that you follow up like Cole is doing right now with the medium cut on the DA, so that you clean up any hazing, any swirls in the surface to leave it absolutely perfect.
All right, guys, what's up? This is day number 4. This will be our final day on this beautiful boat. We've got some scaffolding that the guys are going to put together to be able to ceramic coat the hull of this boat a lot easier. As soon as we get the scaffolding set up, I'm going to have them go ahead and surface prep the port side of the boat. And the way we're going to do this today is we are going to coat the port side of the hull. We're going to prep it and coat it, and then we're going to move to the starboard side. We're going to prep it and coat it. That's the easiest way to stay efficient. We're going to break up into 2 groups. We're going to have 2 guys starting on the bow of the boat, and then we're going to have 2 guys starting off in the stern, and they're going to work their way and meet together in the middle. So with that said, let's go over into the final day of this detail. We're going to ceramic coat the hull, and we are going to put the final little last minute touches on the boat to make it as presentable as we can to conclude this video and to have it ready for our customer. Then we'll be back out in 2 weeks to finish up. Let's get into it. Any of y'all done a larger hull like this, coating wise? I don't think so, right? Okay.
This large, yeah.
Cool. So I'm gonna run y'all through how we kind of break it up, because you'll kind of have to break it into 2 sections. We'll do the top and then the bottom separately. So we'll go run through how to do that. But I'm gonna get my gloves on. So let's go over here. We'll run through that, how to do it. Can I get an applicator pad? Okay, so we're gonna be working on the scaffolding. All right. So I like to take 2 towels, place them like this. It's clean, just stained. All right, so we have our 3 leveling towels, and we'll just place it on the towels, okay? Because I don't want to place it on the ground here, and then it could potentially pick up dirt, and then we, make it all nasty. So, all right, so there's really not much of a difference as far as the leveling, or the applying and leveling on the hull. But being we have such a big space, if we coat this whole thing, it may be kind of hard to level it. So we'll start off in the front, and I like to do kind of the top section and then the bottom section. So we'll kind of cut it almost dead in half. So we'll do about a 2-foot section of the top, level it real good, and then come back, do the bottom, level it real good, and then just kind of work our way all the way down. Now, y'all know this from working side by side, but it just always overlap by about 50 to 100%. Just go 1 pad over, just so we're always making sure we get even coverage. Is that easy enough? All right, cool. All right, I'm gonna show y'all how to do it real quick. All right, so this is a brand new bottle. Before, you don't need to like shake it crazy, but just give it a little wiggle. I'm gonna saturate this bad boy. And I don't know if y'all feel the wind. It's a little windy today. So most likely this is going to fire off relatively quickly. All right, cool. I'm gonna do about 2 foot here. So I'm gonna run my line of ceramic right down the center first, and then we're gonna come and outline our section. All right, come back down to where we started, about right here, and then come. Now, the reason why we go down the center first is because we're putting a thick layer of ceramic. So every time we pass, now we're picking up ceramic, and this is gonna help us get even coverage, okay? And if you just started off at the top and went, you'd have a lot of ceramic up here, and by the time you get down here, it's gonna be thinner. So by running it fat down the middle, it'll allow us to pick it up and evenly spread it. Now, this hull is kind of light, and it's so shiny that it's a little difficult to see where you're applying it. So y'all just make sure you're really looking for the streaks in the gel coat. One of y'all go get me a correction light. Do y'all know how to test if it's ready? All right, so we put our ceramic here. I'm gonna just put my fresh towel right off of where the ceramic was, and I'm gonna run it across. As soon as it starts to feel any resistance, see how my towel's kind of rolling? Can y'all see that? See how it's rolling under my fingers? It's ready to go. So that was only about 30 seconds. And then to level, we're just gonna do short, easy circle buffs. All right, now, the reason why we have a few towels, the first towel we want to keep as our first towel, okay? So we'll put our first towel here, and then we'll go back with our second towel and redo it. Nice and easy. At this point, it'll start to feel pretty tacky. All right, that's 2. And then our third towel, it's just gonna be a light side to side, just enough to smooth it out. It should feel evenly tacky. Ooh. All right, now because it's such harsh light today, I want y'all to use a correction light. And when you're done each section, just take it through and look at it. And really the only thing we're looking for is high spots and streaks. So if you're seeing like smudges, almost like swiping motions, that just means we gotta level it a little better. But as of right now, unless y'all can see something, I can't. That looks pretty perfect to me. Y'all see anything? No. Can you pick that up, the light on the camera? Yeah. Does it look glossy? Yep. So I'm looking for streaks and high spots. All high spots are, if y'all don't know, is if you don't level the coating properly, it'll want to cure up and like rock hard and it'll get kind of hazy, and that's a high spot. So you won't have any high spots as long as you level it out properly, okay? So we got 1 towel, 2 towel, 3 towel, and you want to keep them that way. Now, once you do probably like this section, that section, so about 4 sections, you're gonna get rid of your 1 towel because it's gonna be saturated with ceramic, and then you'll move your 2 towel to your 1, your 3 towel to your 2, and then grab a 3rd. That'll be the best way to keep your towels nice and clean and fresh, so you're not just smearing the ceramic around. And we've done this in the past, but if you keep using the same towel, by the time you get 6 sections down, you're not actually removing any of the ceramic. You're basically just smearing around and you're just gonna be wiping for days. Does that make sense? Okay. So now that we've done this section, the next thing to do would be to move down, overlap by about 50 to about 100%, just your edge, knock out this bottom portion, and then move down. Y'all got it? Y'all are a lively bunch today. All right, let's get it.
All right, so the guys are going to be running down with the Revival Marine ceramic coating on this hull to get it looking absolutely beautiful. We're doing the port sides first, and then we're going to move over to the starboard side of the hull. Now, anytime that you're doing the ceramic coating, it's really important that you have good lighting. So we have really good sunlight out here, but we're also using the Max Shine correction light to really inspect every single section before we move down. So every 2-foot section, inspect it with some type of light. So either a shop light or a cell phone light, and we're really looking for any swirls. We're looking for any high spots in the ceramic or any streaks in the ceramic. If you do not remove the high spots and the streaks, it will 100% dry that way, and then you'll have to repolish it off. So always make sure the surface is completely streak free when you're done applying. Alrighty, so we are officially done with the ceramic coating on the hull. I had the guys hop on the top side just to do a nice general cleanup so that we could put a bow and be officially done with this detail. To do this, we're using Revival Vinyl Guard on all the seat cushions to put a nice layer of protection and UV shield on the seats, and then we're gonna wipe all the glass surfaces with Revival ceramic spray along with the non-skid. We sprayed it all on the non-skid to get the non-skid protected. Guys, that's officially it. Let's check out the after video. This boat looks crazy.
Y'all hot?
Oh yeah, we're hot.
Y'all ready to go home?
Oh, please.
Glad this boat's over.
For now.
It was a fun boat, but it's hot as heck.
MTV, welcome to my crib.
Let's go.
Yeah, I think we should do it in the bar.
All right, guys, that is it for today's video. If you got any value out of today's video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the little bell notification so that every time we make a video, it will pop up. And like always, all of the products that we talked about in today's video are listed in the description section down below. If you click those links and purchase those products, we appreciate you guys for that. That's it for today's video. We'll see y'all on our next detail. Let's go.